All right, wait a second. We need a quick tea. Oh yeah, I ain't get you. Yeah. Absolutely.
I should have spoke up loud.
My bad. I ain't hear you, little lady.
I mean, man. I don't know what I said.
Couple minutes, we about to get it started. Get it started. Dun 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 dun. Good. You good. Drinks. We got drinks. We're gonna get right to this teaching. It'll be a quick history lesson. We got a good workout to get in when my emperors get in. So let me get my mic on. Hope y'all got your pencils and paper. You're gonna still get some real history so you can have something to compare to. Islam Moors, can y'all hear me? Islam Moors, can y'all hear me? Let me get an Islamism. We're gonna jump right into this teaching. Everybody good? Everybody got their pencils and their papers? Islam? All right. Well, thanks for the donation, Morris. Like I told Morris, I really hope it's on Morris' heart to become members and students soon, because like I said, we're gonna be off YouTube real soon. And so right now I'm courting Morris, and I really hope you really be serious on what's your mission. And I hope your mission is to see us have a physical temple here in Arizona and to help us build. And remember, all donations and offerings is tax exempt. And we can do this, Moors, but we need to help. I'm not here for likes. I'm not here for followers. I'm here for brothers and sisters to become students and members, so we can be educated and so we can know business and we can know who we are, so our children can know who they are. The point that I'm at in my life and those around me, especially as a Moorish man and a Moorish noble and an adept, if it's not important for a Moorish man to tell his children and his offspring and his empress the importance of who they are and what they are and about their finances and about coming together in covenant, if that's not important to you, I can't rock with you. Because it's not about wearing a whole bunch of items and all that. It's about covenant and helping build and having something on this earth that we can really have. That's what it's about, man. And if we're going to educate, let's do it. I just need brothers and sisters to stand with me. But let's get into this message. I'm going to give a quick history lesson. I tell Moors the only way to get through the fire is to go through the fire, and history is law. And once you know all that stuff, then we come together and we operate. We operate just how everyone else operates, and the laws protect them. We must defend the Constitution, Moors. I promise y'all this. We're not about just posting stuff and following people on the internet. The internet is a network, how we bring people together and how we can do things. Look at all these different people that's in all different areas that's be on YouTube, and all those members and students that's part of our school. Man, everybody's from a different area. So if we continue to do that and continue to move like that, we can be just as big as we want. Why and how? Because we control our destiny and we control what we want to do. That's what an organization, that's what a community consists of. A community and a neighborhood and a tribe consists of families. It takes families to become tribes. It takes tribes to become nations. That's how you have a nation inside of a nation. When I tell Moors, I'm not worried about all the Moors in the world. That's fine. I have respect and I love all the Moors in the world, but that don't mean everybody is part of my family and part of what we doing. We have to understand that. We got to get all that European perspective, all that hate out our heart. Moors with all that pseudo academia, posting stuff like you smart, all that Darwin European theory, all that crap is garbage. Get all that fake stuff out your head that you can't prove. To get all that religious Yaqub stuff out your head. In the Bible, Yaqub is Jacob. If you don't understand that, then you twisting. You let somebody twist the stories. I promise you this. We dealing with scholarship, not no belief system. So let's get with our warning and then our prayer. We're gonna jump right into the teaching and the education, and we're done. But Prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read the proclamation at each meeting. Are hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work or in their homes or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. My 2 cents Moors, health and wealth. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Our Moorish American prayer: Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Shalom Alaikum, Ayah Asha Ayah, peace be with you. Salam Alaikum, whatever name you give and praise, so be it. You see, I didn't get in all that catchphrase stuff, talk about get up and stand to the east, because I'm giving you a depth science. The closest place to meet Allah is in the heart. And we're not lost, and we're not on, no disrespect, we're not on no westernized thought process. I'm not lost. I know where I am. And if you don't understand that, you're definitely not on an adapt science. Thank you. So let's get into a little history. We're gonna touch on a couple topics, so then we can know how to go forward, because we must go forward. We must go forward. We educating ourselves to move forward. We're not, like I said, you'll never see me in no debate with no Negroes. You'll never see me with that. That's a waste of time. Comparing information, that's a waste of time. After you do all that, then what? That's preaching. And then it's worth the preaching because at least the churches, they have a place of their own, and they're spreading their message. We're not even spreading our message. What we're doing is arguing with each other. And what most Negroes doing is trying to hustle you. And that's what I said, I'll never get into that. I'm an educator. What I've done is create a temple in the school so we can study true Moorish science. We can study true history. We can study true law, international, local, state, and federal. We can deal with finance, micro and macro. We can deal with language and linguistics. We can deal with our health and wealth. And then once we know who we are, now we start doing business on this earth plane. And I show you how when you're under a proper religious organization, when you're under a certain tax bracket, man, it's a lot that we can do. So it's a book more, and it's called The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War. And I've done this over and over and over. But another one of my young students was like, Nova, would you please do it again? You know, and I was like, absolutely. Because he wanted his teacher to see the science. Because I told y'all, a lot of stuff I do, I have my young students take it to school. And then a lot of the teachers, I don't blame none of the teachers, because the only thing they know is what's been taught to them. They haven't done any intensive research. So when they giving you history, when they giving you a lesson plan, that lesson plan is over and over and over and over. And you must show them the history. That's what it's called advanced research, peer-reviewed scholarly research. So, have any more heard or read The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War? I'm gonna give y'all a quick little crash course on that, and then we gonna proceed on, and then we done. Have y'all ever heard about the Forgotten Cause of the Civil War? Yes or no? Have anybody ever heard of the science, the Forgotten Cause of the Civil War? A new look at the slavery issue. Yes or no? Yes or no, Morris? Come on. Yes or no? Come on, this is quick. This is quick, Morris. That's what I want us to know. This is a quick thing. Have we heard? Come on, keep going. I want us to know history and prehistory so we don't get caught up in garbage. Okay, good. I want you to. That's why I said when I give you history, and history is law, this science, what I'm giving you, can be used in college and in schools and debunk Eurocentric propaganda. That's why I'm telling y'all it's a difference from scholarship and Negro and European and Eurocentric propaganda, which I call pseudo-academia. Moors, let me tell y'all something. When you had just a speck of Negro blood in your veins, what that made you and what that classifies you? Don't answer, ISIS. What that classified you as? Think about it, and I'm gonna teach y'all some history. You gotta think, remember I say the real cause of the Civil War. I'm gonna show you a picture of some people, and then answer the question. If you had a tittle of Negro blood in your veins, what that made you? What that made you, Morris? Answer the question. This is simple. So you'll never have to let nobody get you with garbage again when we talk about history. And when I tell you black and white, they don't have nothing to do with nothing. It's a class thing. Come on, Morris. If you had a tittle of Negro blood in your veins, what did that make you? What did that make you? This is elementary, man. And that's why I be saying, do Moors be listening, or do we just be there to, I don't know. That's why I say a lot of brothers and sisters need to be retrained how to be students. You know, we have a certain particular aptitude about us. If we want to say we Moorish, if you say you Moorish and you're not studying your teachings, you're not covenant with a Moor that teach lessons, you're not Moorish. Yes, you were Moor by birthright, but you're not Moorish, because the ish is the way we live, the way we study, and how we teach our children, and how we covenant to come together. We don't let nobody else teach our children without us teaching them. That's laziness. So I wait for somebody to answer that question. Do anybody know? If you don't know the answer, say no. Say, I don't know. This is what I'm saying. We must move on. This is how we learn. This is why I say, how can more say they're going to be historians and understand who they are and don't understand where they come from in history, so you can stand strong on your square of history and law. So if you had a little bit of black blood in your veins, what did that classify you as? Come on, Moors. Say, if you don't know, say, I don't know. We got to move on. I'm telling you, I'll just end it, man. Because this is not how we learn. We learn by responding. I said, I want to see what Moors think they know or what they believe. Color or a black or more in those times. No. Listen what I said. I said, if you had a tittle of black blood in your veins, what did that classify you as? What did that classify you as? I stay in the context when I said the forgotten cause of the Civil War, a new look at the slavery issue. Come on. So what am I saying? Back in these times, during these slavery times, whatever you want to connotate them as, if you had a tittle of black blood in your veins, what did that make you? Come on, man. Somebody answer this. Yes, but what did that make you? Yes, it did. But what did it make you? Come on, I'm looking for the proper denotation, connotation, whatever. Remember it, black and white. When we tell you, if you had a tittle in black blood in your veins, okay, now I'm gonna be more specific. If you had a tittle of black blood in your veins back in these so-called slavery times, and you was and you thought your skin was white, which didn't mean nothing, what were you classified as? 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 I need more people. What were you classified as? I'm giving you the answer, but I want it specific. What were you classified as? What was these lighter skin with the little tittle of Negro blood in their veins classified as? Do you know? Because this is their family. I understand that. No, I want the proper verbiage. I want the proper no. I didn't say what was their status, 3/5 or 5/5. I didn't ask that. Come on. If we don't know, say it. Well, let me say it one more time. One more time. Look at this family. This is a family. So if your skin was, it didn't matter if it was white, whatever you want to call it. If you had a tittle of Negro blood in your veins, what was these people classified as with this lighter skin? They wanted to say they were white. What were they classified as? What were they classified as? Do y'all know? Yes, sir. Do y'all know the answer? I'm waiting. I'm gonna see if somebody know. This is how I said this is scholarship. When I be telling Moors, you don't know no one's nationality if you don't know the blood that's running to their veins. The color of a person, you don't mean nothing. What you say? It won't let me type it. What you mean it won't let you type it? Try it again. Somebody tell me. Do anybody know the answer? Somebody gotta know this answer, man. I'm about to go to sleep in class. Remember I told y'all, what if the whole test was just one question? What if the whole test was just one question? And I've been going over this over and over and over. I done done teachers on this. What do that classify you as, Morris? If you don't know, say you don't know. Okay, well, say it again. Maybe somebody erased it. Pop it up again. Type it again. It don't matter. If it was erased, do it again. We don't let nothing stop us. If it was erased, type it again. If you don't know this, type it to somebody, let somebody else get an answer. Nope, not Moors. No. You are not classified as no more. Come on, man. That's your free. Come on, man. No. Not award. No. Anybody else? Anybody else? That's how I said we're looking for a specific answer. Anybody else? I'm gonna see if anybody else can say it. James said he was erased. Somebody else said their answer was erased. So I'm waiting to see what you guys say. I'm waiting to see what they say. I'm waiting to see Shoot, it ain't that long. If you type I hope you ain't writing no whole dissertation, because it's only one word. It's only one word. Do you know the answer, Isis? What did it start with? No, not colors. No. It don't start with no A. Man, come on, man, y'all. More. That's why I said if Moore's talking about they know history and the thing. No, man, I done said the question 1,000,000 times. You should have wrote it down. Listen, I'm gonna show you a picture. Look at this family. This is a family. No, NBC is Negro, black, and color. That ain't what I'm saying. I said I need a specific answer. Back in these slavery days, if we dealing with the real cause of the hidden cause of the Civil War, where just because your skin was this color, if you had a tittle or a little speck of Negro blood in you, you were classified as a what? 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 Come on, man, this is simple. As a what, y'all? As a what? Not no Indian, no. How? Where will you even get that from, Indian? Man, come on. I'm looking for a specific answer. I understand slave. That's the easy answer. I said, I'm looking for a specific answer. We know we're talking about slavery. We know that. But what am I talking about? The classification that they put these children and women and men in. No, not chattel slavery. No. What were they classified as? What were they classified as? I said, if you had I don't care if your skin was pale as this paper, listen to what I'm saying. If your skin is pale as this paper, and you got a speck of Negro blood in your veins, what were you classified as? You were a what? I know you were the slave, I know that, but you were considered a what? No, Moors. Mulatto. What did I do? I said, if you had a little tittle, if you was this color of this paper, no, not no 3/5. I said no to that already. I said, if you was this color of this paper, and you had a speck of Negro blood in your veins, that made you were a mulatto. So we know you were the slave, but you were classified as a mulatto. That's what I'm saying. I'm dealing with specifics. Are we clear? Islam? And so all those guesses, when I told more, everybody would have been wrong because that's not specific. I said, what would they classify it as? I said, we talk about if this is the forgotten cause of the Civil War, and I said, if you was white as that paper and you had a speck of Negro blood in your blood, that make you a mulatto. Okay, if you said it, great. If you said it, great. Great. So that's the definition, or the definition of so-called white slavery in the antebellum South. When I tell Moors, look at the antebellum South. When I be saying things in words that Moors know, they don't know the words, they don't even look them up. The enslavement of people who were physically white. That's the picture I just showed you. Here it is. Here, when we talk about physically white, this is a whole family. Look at them little mixed babies. Don't they look so-called physically white with their family? I told you the color spectrum comes from dark to light. So-called white slaves were presumed to be descendants from a black female slave. Listen, according to the maternal descent rule of inherited slave status. Did y'all hear what I said? Listen to me again. White slaves were presumed to be descendants from a black female slave according to the maternal descent rule of inherited slave status. And there was no way to really determine who was a descendant from a female African slave and who was pure white. Y'all ain't listening. So if the slave descent was broken by manumissions, research manumissions, I've done this plenty times, white slaves could often become legally white. Northerners who were told by the Southern slaveholder elites that slavery was justified by the inferiority of the black race were horrified to discover that people as white as themselves were being held as slaves. Y'all ain't know that, huh? They get you out of that straight up Africa mess. Bull crap. History was told in reverse. Southern political powers and the federal fugitive slave law allow slave catchers to seize alleged fugitives from bondage with no due process. Here you go, with no due process. Proclaim, declare, and have due process. Y'all ain't listening. White slavery meant that one's physical appearance was no protection from legal kidnapping. Did you hear me, ISIS? I said white slavery meant that one's physical appearance was no protection from legal kidnapping. The political ramifications of this fact, unacknowledged by most American historians, I like to call it pseudo-academia, are that anti-slavery politics increasingly emphasize the threat of slavery to northern whites. The fear and hatred of slavery was usually not as commonly believed, right? Y'all got to understand the response to the suffering of blacks by liberal whites, racial intermixture, and mixed race whites were therefore important factors in increasing the tensions that ultimately led to the American Civil War, and not just marginal characters. I'm telling y'all, man, y'all got to understand that issue of so-called white slavery in those times. Right? You got to understand the so-called slave trade, the white slave, and the politics of racial discrimination in those times. Y'all got to know this. That's why the definite work on white chattel and slavery and its politics and its political ramifications. That's by the author is Lawrence R. Tenzer. You know. This is stuff that we most know. Right? Right, Moors? I just want to give you all a crash course. I don't want to stay in things too long. But you got to understand what I'm saying. You got to understand what I'm saying, Moors. You must understand this science. If you don't understand this, there's something wrong. All this goes down to what we thought we knew and why we shouldn't be caught up in no color book of law. I'm telling y'all, man, we must know this science. You're not Negro, black, and colored. You are Moorish American. Your nationality is Moorish American. Your race is Asiatic. Your status is free white. You must understand this. You're not black if you understand what black means in etymology. So then we can deal with more science when we talk about white cargo. It's another science called the white cargo. That one was called the hidden cause of the Civil War. And then it's another scholarship. It's called white cargo. And a lot of people recognize certain images of this nation's dark side. So-called slave kidnapping from their native land. When you talk about this transatlantic slave trade and whipped and worked in American plantations and all that. Yes, we know all that. We know that. We know that. Right? But they don't want to tell you about them and about their history because they are the foreigners. I'm telling you, they are tourists on the land that's not theirs. I promise you. It's no disrespect. I'm coming from scholarship when I have to continue to let you know that you're not Negro, black, and colored. And if anybody going on with those misnomers today, there's something wrong. It's something wrong with us. This is true history. To be free, you must go through the fire and know history to correct the teachings, and then we move on. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, a lot of stuff has been written in London and in Europe and things. They know our Moorish legacy and the real history. European Don Jordan and Michael Walsh, both of whom have made documentaries and both whom live in London, retell the familiar tale although the victims here are not Africans, but English, Irish, and Scottish people sent to the colonies largely against their will in the 17th and the 18th century. And White Cargoes begins with the discovery of a 17th century skeleton in Maryland in 2003. And it turned out to be that of a boy about 16 years old who has suffered from tuberculosis and injuries consistent with hard labor. Presumably he had been a slave since his body had not been properly buried. During those times, depending on how you were buried, depending on who you were. I hope y'all know this. But his body was thrown into a basement of a home near Annapolis in a hole under a pile of household waste. And he was Northern European, probably British, and one of the 10,000 of the victims of a century-long practice stretching from Boston to the Barbados that treated whites as slaves and that largely predate both the black slave trade and the American independence. Just like when I talk about, the Negroes talk about some transatlantic slave trade, and then they want to gravitate to some al-Islam, and I say, man, well, you need to research the Arab slave trade. Why you always want to be friends with people, but don't want to be friends with your own kind? Negroes gang banging, acting like our wisdom and our science is some game. This ain't no game. You are more. I don't care if you gravitate to the 5%ers or to the Hebrew Israelite. None of the 5%, that ain't your nationality. A Hebrew Israelite ain't your nationality. You are more. You Negroes acting like gangs. Mainstream historians refer to these laborers and indentured servants, not slaves, because many agreed to work for a set period of time in exchange for land and rights. But that slavery applies to any person who is bought and sold, chained and abused, whether for a decade or a lifetime. And many earlier settlers died long before their indenture ended, or found that no court would back them when their own failed to deliver on those promises. And many never achieved freedom or the American dream they were seeking. Y'all know who this is right here? When I show y'all, a lot of stuff is wrapped up in Christianity and Catholic and Masonry. Especially when I talk about the doctrine of the discovery. You have to know this science. That right there is John Popham. And he sent convicts to America. That's John Popman. Research this. John Popham. And he sent convicts to the Americas. Kids and everything. And in that science, it tells the tale from both sides of the Atlantic. Its condemnations is aimed at both American planters and English elite, who were blindly and blinded by the greed, arrogance, and the desire to get rid of their society sweeping. And horribly, one of the first groups sent to Americas. Yep. And one of the first groups that was sent to the Americas was made up of street children, ages 8 to 16, who arrived in 1619. You hear that? 1619? When I showed y'all the sign of how the first so-called slaves arrived in America, the 1619, that's 400 years. That's 400 years ago. And you try to talk about you was in slavery for 400 years. I hope y'all connecting this science what I'm talking about. Y'all missing it. This slave trade was the science that was often dressed up in the bright humanitarian clothes for a public, later extended to the beggars, gypsies, prostitutes, convicts, and anyone else who displeased the upper class. Just like George Washington, do not fare particularly well. But Sir John Popman, remember Oliver Cromwell? Y'all don't know what Oliver Cromwell did? I gave y'all but y'all need to research the science of Oliver Cromwell and research all those killings that he did in the name of Christianity, burning people at the stakes. Research these Europeans. See, these folk tales, these was murderers. These was murderers. Even the European Churchill that the Europeans love, he killed everybody. He sent the goods and just killed the indigenous people. These were no heroes. Research what Oliver Cromwell did in the name of religion, just killing people. They come off worse. Benjamin Franklin is one of the best few of them good guys, if you want to compare him to that. And White Cargo, it maliciously sourced, and it has footnotes. You can research the science. Little is discussed about this forgotten bit of American history. This is the stuff that I show y'all that we can connect the dots. We can connect the dots from scholarship. That's what we must do. We must teach our kids that they not know Negro, black, and slaves and all this. And then you can start connecting the dots and see stuff in history. We almost done. We at the last part. And the last part, we are at the Black Christian codes. The Black Christian codes. Right? Y'all didn't know about that? The Black Christian codes. Let me break something down to y'all. When I say things ain't changed, they just modernize things. And you're gonna go around and call yourself something that connotates to slavery. It doesn't make sense, Moors. It just doesn't make sense to me. Let me find something. Hold on. I see if I want to give a different one. I did a lot of lectures, and I'm just trying to find one that I did a while ago. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'll pull this one up. We got to connect the dots, Moors. Our children must know this. Our babies shouldn't go around calling themselves Negro, blacks, and colored. Let me break something down to y'all. I can PDF y'all this science so you can have it, so your babies can know, so they can check that pseudo-academia. When I tell Moors, why would you want to be under something that somebody told you and you don't have no idea of who you are? Don't y'all see this? What's that? Do y'all see that background? That says auction and Negro sales. Listen, look, let me show you. I'm showing you, I can start showing you all documents, man, to blow your mind. And you want to call yourself a Negro. Something that connotate and denotate to slavery. Chattel, cattle. So, we almost done. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is why I said my children know this science. That's why I have a school. I want us to be educated if we can teach our babies. That's why we wear our fez proudly. That's when I tell them, when I break down the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment, you know that why would you want to be a Negro, black, or colored? Why? But the Christian Black Codes of 1724 were initiated during the Reconstruction. Let me turn my phone the other way. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. All right, let me get a little bigger so I can read this a little bit for y'all. All right. For the Reconstruction after the Civil War to control blacks after they were emancipated, passed by southern states, instead of giving blacks the same rights as whites, because you Negroes fought for some of them civil rights and for the human rights. Research the Big Six, those Negroes preachers that got paid for getting off the mission. Research the Big Six. The codes limited the black freedom severely. They included that blacks had to be in service of a white person. Did you hear that, ISIS? That they could not have congregation together. That they could not speak out. And Negroes don't want to come together, talk about you studying on your own, where at one point you couldn't come together. And that they could not have weapons. They also included that blacks could not go out without a white supervisor. Thus blacks had to take on the religions and the holidays and the gods of their white superiors. Did y'all hear what I just said? Let me say this again. They also included that blacks could not go out without a white superior or overseer, what they called it in religion. Thus blacks had to take on the religions and the holidays and the gods of their white superiors. These same black codes were said to have been made null and void with the ratification of the 13th Amendment in 1865, although many southern states adopted the black codes to keep former slaves from voting and impose other restrictions. That's right. The 14th and the 15th Amendments were to supposedly have eliminated these codes. But if you understand the science and if you study the law of the land in conjunction with religion and politics, Moors, you will discover that these codes have been modernized in a disguise and you might still be living in them and under the effect. Watch this. Watch this, Moors. The Christian Black Codes of 1724. Watch this. Article 1. Decree the expulsion of the Jews from the colony. Article 2. Make it imperative on masters to impart religion's instruction to their slaves. Article 3. Permits the exercise of the Roman Catholic's creed only. Do y'all hear that? Permits the exercise of the Roman Catholic's creed only. So here it is. They push your religion over you. That's the doctrine of discovery. And you under somebody else's religion. Every other mode of worship is prohibited. Article 4. Negroes placed under the direction of supervision of any other person than a Catholic are liable to confiscation. Are y'all listening? Article 5. Sundays and holidays are to be strictly observed. All Negroes found at work on these days are to be confiscated. Article 6. We forbid our white subjects of both sexes to marry with the blacks under penalty of being fined and subject to some other arbitrary punishment. What does arbitrary mean? Any damn thing I make up. We forbid all curators, priests, or missionaries of our secular or regular clergy, and even our chaplains in our navy, to section or sanction such marriages, meaning it ain't nothing to us. We also forbid all of our white subjects and even the manumitted or the freeborn blacks to live in a state of concubine with slaves. Should there be any issue from this kind of intercourse, it is our will that the person so offending and the master of the slave should pay each a fine of 300 livres. Should said issue be the result of concubines of the master, his slave, said master shall not only pay the fine, but be deprived of the slave and of the children. They wanted the slave and the children. Why? Because you was working. Who shall be adjudged to the hospital of the locality, and said slave shall be forever incapable of being set free. But shall this illicit intercourse have existed between a free black and his slave, when said slave, according to the forms described by the church, said slave shall become free and legitimate, and in such case there shall be no application of the penalties mentioned in the present article. Article 7. The ceremonies and forms prescribed by the ordinance of Bolus and the edict of 1691 for marriage shall be observed, both with regard to free persons and slaves. But the consent of the father and mother of the slave is not necessary. That of the master shall be the only one required. So your mom and dad don't got nothing to do. You talk about you married. I'm your slave master. I tell you who you marry. You want to be a nigga? If you want to call yourself a nigga, if you want to call yourself that, you a slave. That's why Obama told y'all in 2010 you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. No one will be arbitrated out of a nationality. And the claim of child replaces the birth certificate. The first thing Moore should have been looking for is, how do I do that? But y'all playing. Article 8. We forbid all curators to effect marriages between slaves without the proof of the consent of their master. And we also forbid all masters to force their slaves into marriages against their will. Article 9. Children issued from the marriage of slaves, listen to this, shall follow the condition of their parents. Meaning what? You slave. There we go with that mulatto. I don't give a damn how white your skin is. And shall belong to the master of the wife and not of the husband, if the husband and the wife have different masters. Article 10. If the husband be a slave and the wife a free woman, it is our will that the children of whatever sex they be shall share the condition of the mother and be as free as she, notwithstanding the servitude. Y'all hear this? Of their father. And if the father be free and the mother a slave, then the children shall be slaves. Y'all hear this? Article 11. Masters shall have their Christian slaves buried in consecrated ground. We forbid slaves to carry offensive weapons. So they don't want your black ass having no weapons or heavy sticks under the penalty of being whipped and or of having said weapons confiscated for the benefit of the person seizing the same. That's why I said we pray to our own saints when I say Santeria and Orisha. An exception is made in favor of those slaves who are hunting or are shooting for their masters and who carry with them a written permission to that effect, or are being designed by some known mark or badge. What mark? The mark of your black bleepity bleep being a slave. Your slave, your article from your master. Article 13. We forbid slaves belonging to different masters. Listen to this. We forbid slaves belonging to different masters to gather in crowds, either by day or by night, under the pretext of a weeding or for any other cause, either at the dwelling or on the grounds of their masters or elsewhere, unless on the highways or in the secluded places, under the penalty of corporal punishment, which shall not be less than what? The whip, in case of frequent offenses of this kind. The offenders shall be branded with the mark of the flower de luce. The flower de luce. I'm telling y'all, y'all don't even know this. Research this stuff. You would be marked with what? The flower, D-E-L-U-C-E. I hope y'all know what I'm saying, man. And should there be a gravitating circumstances, capital punishment may be applied at the discretion of the judges. We command all of our subjects, be thy official or not, to seize offenders, to arrest and conduct them to prison. That's right. The French, that's right, Moore. Although there should be no judgment against them. Why y'all think why y'all think, that's why I know Moors don't travel. A lot of Africans speak French. Why? Because they was under the French rulership. Don't y'all know Belgium, when they killed Mamunda? When they killed Mamunda, research how them Belgians, I played the document, man. I used to play so many movies. I got so much stuff how the Europeans just killed all leaders. And I show y'all how they killed Mamunda in the Congo. Those Europeans, those Belgians, and they talked about it. Killed our brother, sliced him up and dumped him in some damn acid. Yes. And then the Europeans talked about it. I'm telling y'all, man, research the story, the assassination of Patrice Mamunda. And then you'll understand what history repeats itself. Research the assassination of Patrice Mamunda. And research them Belgians, how they killed our brother. And then the European, no disrespect, they're not that strong unless your own people sell out and go against you, and your own brothers that you was appointing sold them out because they wanted a piece of what the European had to offer. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. If we're going to deal with history, let's deal with it. Research the assassination of Patrice Mamunda. Article 15. That's the mark of the flower. That's right. You would be branded with the mark of the flower de luce. The F-L-O-W-E-R-D-E-L-U-C-E. Research it. Article 15. We forbid Negroes to sell any commodities. That's right. I'm telling you, man. And Negroes don't. That's why. Remember when I told y'all signs and symbols? Negroes just take stuff and they don't research a damn thing. And I say, you don't understand. You can prove that you don't know nothing by the symbols you wear. We forbid Negroes to sell any commodities, provisions, or produce of any kind without the written permission of their masters or without wearing their known marks or badges. And any person purchasing anything from Negroes in violation of this article shall be sentenced to pay a fine of 1,500 livres. And we don't want to do business with each other? You're crazy. Articles 16, 17, 18, and 19 provide at length for the clothing of slaves and for their assistants or for their children. Slaves who shall not be properly fed, clad, and provided for by their masters may give information thereof to the Attorney General, to their superior council. So here it is, we begging them that our slave master ain't clothing us. I don't even want to read all that. Article 21, slaves who are disabled from working, either by old age, disease, or otherwise, be the disease incurable, nor shall be fed and provided for by their masters. You hear that crap? Article 22, we declare that slaves have no rights to any kind of property, but that all that they acquire, either by their own industry or by their ability of others, or by any other means or title, whatever shall be the full property of their masters. So, why would you want to? That's that whole Dred Scott case. That's the whole case when Abraham Lincoln defended the Moore in court. Because a Negro, black, and colored, you was a slave for life and you couldn't have nothing. Y'all ain't listening. And the children of slaves, said slaves, their fathers, mothers, their kindred, or other relation, either free or slave, shall have no pretensions or claim thereof, either through testamentary nor positions or donations. So that means I don't give a damn what you talk about you inherit. Nigga, you a slave. All that stuff go to your slave master. Talk about your inheritance. Because you a nigga. You want to be a nigga? You talk about you a black man, a black woman, talk about some black power. Yes, black is beautiful, but it's not your nationality. You must understand that. And also whatever promise they may have entered into by persons incapable of disposing of anything or participating to any contract. Article 23, masters shall be responsible for what their slaves have done by their command, and also for what transactions they have permitted their slaves to do in their shops. I ain't even gonna go on all of this. Article 24, slaves shall be incapable of all public functions and of being constituted agents for any other person than their own masters, with powers to manage or conduct any kind of trade, nor can they serve as arbitrators or experts. So I mean, you can't be no educator, no historian, no minister teaching your people. You can't do none of that. Why? Because they say you a slave. Nor shall they be called to give their testimony, either in civil or criminal cases. Now, here it is. You see a European or Albion murder somebody, you can't even testify. Why? Because you a nigga. You see what I'm saying? And your word don't mean nothing. Why? Because you only a 3/5. You ain't even a whole. You ain't listening. And only in default of a white person. But in no case shall they be permitted to serve as witness, either for or against their masters. Y'all listening? Article 25, slaves shall never be parties to civil suits, either as plaintiffs or defendants, nor shall they be allowed to appear as complainants in criminal cases, but their master shall have the right to act for them in civil matters and in criminal ones, to demand punishment and reparation for such outrages and excesses as their slaves may have suffered from. You can't have nothing. 26, slaves may be prosecuted criminally without their masters being made parties to the trial, except they should be indicted as accomplices. And said slaves shall be tried at first by the judges of ordinary jurisdiction, if there be any, and on appeal the superior council, with the same rules, formalities, proceedings observed for free persons. So you're gonna lose regardless. Article 33, slaves who shall have made themselves liable to the penalty of the whip, the flour de luce brand, and ear cutting shall be tried in the last resort by the ordinary judges of the inferior court, and shall undergo their sentence passed upon them without there being an appeal to the superior council, and confirmation or a reversal of judgment, notwithstanding the Article 26 of the present codes, which shall be applicable only to those judgments in which the slave is sentenced to be hamstrung or to suffer death. Man, I'm only in Article 34. Free or born free Negroes who shall have afforded refuge in their houses to fugitive slaves shall be sentenced to pay to their masters of said slaves, of the sum of 30 livers a day for every day doing which they shall have concealed the said fugitive. I'm just reading part of that. Article 35. That's right. But if it's a stage, you must know how to perform. No, brothers don't lose. I don't lose. I ain't never lost when I went to court. Brothers don't. I don't lose. I'm not a Negro. I defend the Constitution. If you know the laws and you know you're not a Negro, black, and color, why you gonna lose? We don't break laws. I'm a Moorish American. I defend the Constitution. I don't lose. I'm not no Negro, black, and color. Article 36, the slave who is sentenced to suffer death on the denunciation of his master shall, when the master is not an accomplice to the crime, be appraised before his execution by two of the principal inhabitants of the locality. So before they sell your ass, we want to appraise you to see if hey brother Booney Farnsworth, he ain't worth killing. Why? Because he got a whole bunch of muscles. He can pull his mule. I can use him. Article 37, we forbid all the officers of the Superior Council and all other officers of the justice in the colony to take any fee or receive any pre-request in criminal suits against slaves under the penalty, in so doing, of being dealt with as guilty of extortion. 38, we also forbid all of our subjects in this colony, whatever their condition or rank may be, to apply on their own private authority the rack to their slaves under the pretenses, whatever, and to mutilate said slaves in any one of their limbs or in any part of their bodies under the penalty of confiscation of said slaves and masters so offending shall be liable to a criminal or to criminal to put their slaves in irons and to have them whipped with rods and ropes. So when you see that iron clasp on their necks, when King Leopold was cutting our hands off, all this stuff is the same. Cutting limbs off. Article 39. We command our officers of the justice in this colony to institute criminal processes against masters and overseers who shall kill or mutilate their slaves when in power under their supervision. Man, I can go on and on, man. Article 40, slaves shall be held in laws as movables. Movables, what that mean? Property, chattel. And as such, they shall be part of the community of assets between husband and wife. They shall be seized under mortgage, whatever. And they shall be equally divided among the heirs. So if the slave master die and your ass still under the slavery, so you property, so you go to their offspring. Y'all listening? Without admitting from any one of the said hearers any claim founded on them. So you go to their offsprings. Man, it's a lot. It's a lot. Article 44, slaves 14 years old and from this age up to 60 who are settled on the lands and plantations and are at the present working on them shall not be liable to seizure for debt except for what may be due out of the purchase money agreed to be paid for them unless said grounds or plantations should be distressed. I mean, it's so much. Masters, when 25 years old, shall have the power to manumit their slaves, either by testamentary disposition or by acts or vice versa. But as there may be mercenary masters, disposed to set a price on the liberation of their slaves. Man, it's too much, man. I can go on and on. I can go on. I don't want to read them all. I mean, it's 54 of them. So, I just wanted to give a crash course on history, man, and we must know how far we have to go. And until us as a people, misnomer Negro, blacks, and colored, misnomer Latino and Mexicans and all that, you know, well, maybe somebody doing it because they know I'm teaching science. Oh, well, like I said, it don't stop. I told y'all, in a minute, we're going to be on a whole new platform. Next year, we're not going to be on YouTube. That's why I'm trying to court Moors. I'm telling y'all, next year, we're going to be gone. We're going to be on our web page. I'm not going to be on YouTube, no Instagram. I still have my pages, but it'll be a little snippet. And if brothers are not members and students, you won't be able to view no lectures. If Moors are not pledging, you won't be able to view the lectures or nothing. Because I'm trying to build something to show Moors we have the rights to do. And the only way to get some reparations is to restore ourselves back to our original state. You're not no damn 5%er or no gods of earth. That's not your nationality. Hebrew Israelite is not your nationality. I love all the sciences. I study all the sciences. But your nationality is Moorish American. Your race is Asiatic. Your status is free white. I don't care what train of thought process you study under. That's fine. You still a Moorish American. And that's just law and civics. Period. It has nothing to do with what you believe in. I don't care what your religion, because I'm a Moor and I study Moorish science and I'm not under no religious creed. I understand the essence. That's what I keep trying to explain to Moors. I'll never get into no religious argument with a person that just reads the Bible and trying to tell them law and histories and nationality. I'm wasting my time and their time. Why? Because all you reading is the Bible and you believe things. And your belief is based on a lie. And I'm dealing with history and civics. And to be a complete 5 of a 5th, you need your nationality and spirituality. And you must understand law. Especially you must understand the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment. You must understand all color of law. You must understand the Constitution and how to defend yourself. Anything else is uncivilized. Anything else is uncivilized. You are not getting ready. You're not going to get no reparations until every Negro, black and colored, and misnomer, Mexican, Latino, and Hispanic, we proclaim, declare, have a due process. We sign a petition with the right Moors, and we take that to the United Nations. We take that to the world courts. And we under one nationality with many cultures. That's the only way. And then we can talk about reparations. A Negro, black, or colored, you're never getting no reparations. And you got to understand that. And that's when I tell people, when brothers and sisters call themselves scholars, and I don't get caught up in the person talking a whole lot. Like, I don't care. Like I said, I don't just go around and say somebody my ancestor because they just talking. If you call yourself a scholar and a historian, and you a Moor, if you call yourself a scholar and a historian, and you be going around, well, what do we call ourselves? Should we call ourselves black, Negro, this, other this? You know damn well, if you're a historian and you study law and civics and history, you know our nationality is Moorish American. And that's the reason why we lost. Because our scholars and the people that we put on the pedestal is steady playing. I don't like to use names, but look at like all our scholars we like to call, like Dr. Carnell West, Tavis Smiley, who else? All those other brothers that be doing those shows and talking all this, Dr. Boyce Watkins, and they talking all this. If they so heavy and they study law, then y'all know damn well we all should be claiming that we're Moorish Americans. Because I'm gonna tell you, that one dude that talk fast, what's his name? His brother is a Moor, and his brother in prison, and he's a Bey. What's his name? I can't think of his name. It'll come to me. Michael Eric Dyson. Michael Eric Dyson. See, y'all got to listen to how people be talking. If you look at one of his interviews, Michael Eric Dyson was talking about, how his brother is the Bey and blah, 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 blah. And he understands his nationality. And I say, are y'all listening to these brothers? So if they know this and they know that part of your freedom is annexing your Bey and your L to your name because it was stripped from you, that's part of your tribal name and freedom, why aren't these so-called scholars explaining this? Why they pussyfooting around stuff? That's why I said I have a scholar and I have an elder. My scholars and my elders right in this house with me. That's why I don't respect no one that just talk that talk. I'm like, well, I got the same education they have. And that's why when I be challenging these so-called scholars, when they be, just like when Morris was posting about T.I. and Killer Mike and all those brothers on TV talk about what should we call ourselves? Negro, y'all say y'all scholars, you know we Moorish Americans. We can prove this. So why should you talk about we black African American? You know damn well that's pertaining to slavery. All I gotta do is break down the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment. All I gotta do is break down the Dred Scott case. All I gotta do is break down chattel and then how you was reclassified as a person, place, and thing, ownership. All I gotta do is break that. All I gotta do is break that law down. All I gotta do is break that down. What were you called before the Civil War? Moors. You know this. You know this. You wasn't no Negro, black, and color, and they know this. This is scholarship. I say, what's on the Constitution? What's on the bottom of the Liberty Bell? Leviticus 25:10. They know this. But see, they can't speak like me. Why? Because they're getting paid, where I'm a boss of myself. I use the analogy of Dick Gregory when people be dissing the church. Well, back in the day when Dick Gregory was alive, a lot of Dick Gregory teachers was at the churches because that's all we had. We had our newspaper. So I said, I don't need nobody from the powers that be. I'd rather deal with the people. And if the people support what we're doing, that's all we need. If the people support. But we always want to put somebody on a pedestal because they're a rapper or an entertainer. And I'm like, they pussyfooting around the answers. What should we call ourselves? You know damn well what we call ourselves. We're Moorish Americans. All through history. Where y'all think I'm getting all this history from? I'm pulling out my rear end. This stuff comes from the libraries. The doctoral library. The Library of Congress. I get all my history from the libraries. They know this. You can ask any politician, what were we called before the Civil War? Moorish American. You know this. We were Moors. Shakespeare wrote about Othello the Moor. Man, Abdul Hamid Solomon. Come on. Abdul Salameen, the Moor. We were Moors. Moors on paper. Y'all know this. So why are we letting other people talk about we're African Americans, we black? Why would you let a Moor talk about filling on your census some damn Mobite or some damn you white or you black? And then I asked Morris, have you ever read what white and black mean? If you really read them both, they're the same thing. White or black is not your nationality. See, this is basics. We're getting with answers. So if we're not Negro, blacks, and color, and Obama told us in 2010 that we have a right of a nationality and the right to change it, and no one would be arbitrarily denied of a nationality, and to claim a child replaces the birth certificate. Well, with bleepity bleep, the only way to get out the fire is to go through the fire. If the laws made you a slave, the laws will pull you out of that. Legally and lawfully. It's that simple. So what's the argument about? What's the confusion? Article 15. What's the confusion? I mean, this is simple. You going around asking some Negro, talking about some Negro finna claim your nationality. You done wasted your $700 or your $300 with some fool that went on Amazon and got a damn ID card machine. You ain't claimed your status ain't claimed. What happened? This man just fraudulently concealed you. You want an ID card that bad to do what? To do what? You ain't proclaimed, declaring, had due process. You don't wear your fez. You haven't annexed your ban, your L, annexed to your government name, to everything. You don't get rid of nothing because it's your proof. If you want to bring up charges to someone, how you going to bring up charges? You get rid of your proof. That don't even make sense. You must annex your ban, your L to your name. I'm right here at Clean Glass. I'm telling you, man, look, this is simple. They just pussyfooting around y'all want to collect offers and to keep you distracted. I don't care if you got a whole bunch of individual people talk about we Moors, and then you got somebody make you some fake ass ID card. That mess don't mean nothing. And I say, okay, if we're Moors, let's proclaim, declare, and have due process. Let's sign a petition, and let's take this to the world courts. Let's do this the right way then. If everybody cares, it's over 30,000 Moors worldwide. Well, if that's the case, right now, let's proclaim, declare, and have due process. Just like right now with the census. It's over 30,000 Moors right now. Every Moor should be taking a picture of that census, how I said you should fill it out, and then we'll have proof. And be like, boom, this is who we are. And take it to the world courts, because it's people that became nations in a nation. You can research this, Europeans. We can do this legally and lawfully. I need Moors to fall under the right auspices. I'm telling you, it's that simple. It's that simple. So when people talk about who we are, you know who we are. We're Moorish Americans. By what? By law, legally. How I know this is facts. Man, you can ask any European Mason. Well, he ain't gonna tell you. Your dad won't tell you neither. If your dad a Negro Mason, he won't tell you because he keeping secrets and he don't understand the mythology of Haram Abif. And then if your mom, if she under European secret societies, if she's a Eastern Star, she don't know that the daughters of American Revolution buried her, but in a shallow grave too. And the white fez with the gold tassel represent her birth cycle. All the science belong to us. And we must educate and we must teach it, but we always let somebody connotate the science and throw it back to you. And now you got some overseer over you. And they take your science. That's why I said I'm right here. The sign, the symbol belong to us. That's why I created the Burning Bush Tabernacle, Moorish Science Temple and School, for Moors to come together and learn systematically. We ain't got time to be arguing over no dumb stuff. Everybody know a whole bunch of stuff. We're building a school. And we're supposed to teach our children what we know late. We're supposed to teach our children what we found out late early. And there's no excuse for our children or for the lack of what our children know if we call ourselves knowing something and you sorry you ain't teaching your kids nothing. Right now, school's not in. What are you teaching your children? They're going to go right back to school thinking they black. It's no excuse. Yes, our children should go get that basic education or that public education. But after that, they should be coming to our Moorish school, just like kids go to the Jewish school. I keep telling y'all, the laws protect us. Our 501c3, that means we tax exempt for the federal government, religious, charitable, scientific, education, religious. We can ask for donations and it's tax exempt. We playing. That's what this is about. It's nothing illegal about more science. What's illegal is these stupid ass sovereign citizens. That's illegal with these damn domestic terrorists. That's illegal with these goofballs acting like they above some law, like y'all got under some different constitution. Talk about y'all got to make your own government. And I say, you Moors is idiots. We're part of this said government. What the hell are you talking about? If not, you a damn alien and you outside the sheltered parameters of the law. If you don't understand that, that's how I know Moors are under a system of science. When Moors talk about they studying more science. No, you're not. You studying whatever the hell you want to. You on the internet reading some black laws. You ain't doing no real research. Why? Because you're trying to get some shit for free. You trying to write some writ, and I'm telling you, you're gonna go to jail. You right now, you on the list as a domestic terrorist. I'm telling you for a fact. If I showed y'all all these Moors on here, they talk that expatriation garbage and that de facto stuff, I'll say, man, I can show you all the Moors that's on a damn domestic terrorist list. Then you got these goofball Moors talking about, well, the internet use this platform. Dumb. All the platform is ran by the government. I don't give a damn what platform you use. Stop talking like a damn criminal. And then you shouldn't be worried about nobody listening. I don't give a damn if nobody listening. Negroes, oh, well, Facebook this. Man, it's all ran by the government. If you ain't under there saying spewing no hate and you that teacher, I don't give a damn who here. I don't give a damn if the president right here sat down and listened to what I'm saying. I want him to hear what I'm saying. Every European know what I'm saying is the truth. Every European Mason know what I'm saying is the truth. Every European professor know what I'm saying is the truth. I ain't saying nothing outside of the law. I'm proud to be a Moorish American. I'm home. It ain't no other place I'd rather be. I'm home. I'm a Moorish American with Moroccan descent. You got to be crazy. I'm proud to be an American. So you talk about, oh, I don't use this platform because they watch it. Fool, it's all the internet. It's a wavelength. Anybody want to watch you, they can watch you. What the hell is you talking about? What you saying? That's the problem. What you saying? Oh man, I don't use Facebook because they be watching. Oh, I don't use YouTube. And then Moors with they sorry self, all the memes they posting, YouTube and Facebook, they don't have my rights. You a fool. You an obligor. What you mean? You got it on that platform, didn't you? So you willingly abiding by their rules, dumb. What the hell are you talking about? If you don't want to use it, don't use it. Get your goofy ass off of it. You talk about the internet and Facebook and YouTube don't have the rights to. Yes, they do. When you got your black butt on there and used it willingly, you became an obligor. That means you under all the rights and regulations that they want to do. Why? Because you willingly using that platform. That's too simple. You willing. Oh, I use this platform, man. Oh, I use this platform. Man, shut up. Why? You saying something illegal? Oh, they listening. Man, we shouldn't spend. I don't care who listening. Everything that I say can be found in the law books. Everything I say, I can prove it in the history books. I can go right to any university. I can go right to the Library of Congress and pull everything that I say out. It can't be refuted. It can't be refuted. Then you got these goofballs with feds that don't talk about they some scholar. And then you got these black so-called educators talk about they scholars. And when I do lectures in the so-called African-American departments on the college campuses, them students have no idea of what I be talking about. When I was at GCU, when I was getting my dual master's degree, I used to go to the African-American department because you have a thing called the Student Union. And I used to speak on the Black Christian codes and the forgotten cause of the Civil War and white cargo. Them students had no idea what I was talking about. They had no idea what the 13th, the 14th, and 15th Amendment about. They had no idea what they had no idea about the letters that Abraham Lincoln was writing. No ideas. And then you got the nerve to talk about you know who you are and history? No, you don't, because you ain't studying. So that's what I'm saying, Morris. This Moorish science is not, this ain't no male group like we some damn European Masons or some Negro black Masons. This is for our whole family. Moorish science. The Quran is knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, nature. And we teach finance, economics, microeconomics, macroeconomics. We teach health and wealth. I'm telling you, there's no reason why we shouldn't have nothing. There is no reason if y'all understand the tax codes and when you become a member and a student of this religious organization, because it is a religious organization as well. You got to understand the duality and how to navigate. There's no reason for us not to have nothing. Next year, all our members, when we do our meet and greet, we should have our temple getting ready to build it up. Every morning in Arizona, you'll be able to come to the temple. We log in from the temple. And I'm showing y'all our study and our classrooms with our computers and how we teaching history to our babies. We teaching civics and history and science and finances and agriculture. I'm telling you, man, any questions? We need the donations. Like I said, if Moors are not students and if you ain't able to give $100 a month, whatever pledge you can give, if it's $5 a month, if it's $10 a month, so be it. I told Moors, if you want to become a student, our one-time pledge is $250. You get your 7 books and your fares. If you don't have the money right off top, all you got to do is pledge $5 a day for 52 days. That's your $250 one-time enrollment fee. Our $100 a month membership dues, one time, once a month, can be paid by $5 a day for 20 days, and it's tax exempt. That's how you break it down. I try to show Moors how to be smart, because I know a lot of Negroes, this is what they do. They'll spend all their checks, right, Ma? And then they last check, they try to pay their bills. I'll show you how to prepare and save. Take a little bit and save and save. This is how we build, man. Everybody else is doing it but us. This is not a for-profit organization. This is a non-for-profit. Meaning we collect donations to what? To operate, and you get taxes and receipts. That's how we build our organization. None of the funds that Moors give, I don't pay my bills with that. All these Negroes that's going around lecturing and Moors paying $300 and $500 to listen to a person speak, where y'all think the money going? In their pocket. Where the temple at? They said they sheiks of the Moorish Science Temple. Where's their temple at? Where's their school? What children are they teaching? It ain't none. So right now, man, I'm petitioning to y'all. We can change this whole paradigm. And when the world starts back again, we can have our school. We can teach more science systematically. We can teach history, civics, finances, and our spirituality. Moors, when you go to these temples, because I asked Moors, I say, go to temples and see what they all about. Because I'm going to tell you what they about. I told one more, I said, watch, you're going to go to one temple. They're going to see you going to come in. Them Negroes going to act like some Southern Baptist preachers. They're going to talk about women can't wear the fez. I said, that's some Negro Southern Baptist garbage. I just broke down the white fez represents our empresses, the Eastern Stars. The fez is a national headdress of our foremothers and fathers. And you're going to let a Negro Moor with a fez on tell you that women can't wear the fez. That's garbage. And then them Negroes in there, when I say they going to Sunday school, and I said, well, what did y'all talk about at Sunday school? He said, man, he was just talking about a whole bunch of spookism. And I said, so y'all didn't go over the Moorish Quran? He said, what Moorish Quran? They don't even have it. So how you study more science? And how you studying the teachings of our prophet, and you don't even have the holy book. And you don't have none of the books that go with the Quran. You don't have the Silent Brotherhood of the East. You don't have the Quranic study guide. You don't have the Catechism to Understanding the Moorish Quran, chapter 20 to 43. You don't have the SO workbook. You don't have the Discover Key questions. You don't understand the one-on-ones. You don't understand nothing. You don't understand the resurrection. That's a problem. More, you should know this, more. Let me read what you just said. Can FEMA, with us being under the state of emergency via the Trump statement, break the treaties and or the Constitution? Man, what treaty? I'll wait, because all of them been broken. So you got to be specific when you talk, because I told y'all it's a thing in politics called double talking, and right now you're not being specific. So what Trump doing? I told you, what treaty? What treaty you talking about? And I'm gonna tell you, every treaty been broken. I keep telling Moore's getting the spookism, and they not making sense. Can FEMA, with us being under state of emergency, via the Trump statement, break the treaties and or the Constitution? So what did Trump say? What did Trump say? That's right, Herman McKinley. That's right. So what did Trump? I hope you understand what he was saying. His statement. Y'all, Moore's not listening. Man, the peace and friendship been broken. More. Come on, man. Noble. The peace and friendship, all treaties been broken. Man, listen, let me tell you why the treaties been broken. Remember when I showed y'all Thomas Jefferson Quran? When I showed y'all that. And when I said instead of the United States continue to pay homage, they brought their warships, and that was from Tripoli, from sea to shining sea. The peace of friendship been broken. I did this a long time ago when I broke down Thomas Jefferson Quran. When I tried to say you were Berber pirates or Kosogors. I've been broke this down in American history. I did that. That's why I said Moors do not need to get caught up in no stupid connotated history that some more telling you. And when you deal with real history, when I break down the history books, you will understand history. You'll be like, oh man, I hear you with that connotated more science stuff. All the treaties been broken, Noble. But understanding who you are, that treaty hasn't been broken. I hope you follow me. I broke down Thomas Jefferson Quran. I broke that down. And I showed y'all that. Islam, I'll do it again. All treaties been broken. When have the United States agreed to some treaties and kept some treaties? That's why they stopped paying homage to the Moors and created the damn army. They broke a treaty. What treaty? The Treaty of Peace and Friendship. For y'all to come on our shores to do business, this was the treaty. Man, the religious laws already protect you. If you understand it, ain't got nothing to do with no Moors. Let me tell y'all something about this. Is why I tell Moors we must understand the Mormons. That's right, Herman. Mormons. When we talk about the religious laws, do you think Mormons participate with anything got to do with the government? They don't even stand up for the national anthem. They don't get no shots. They don't do nothing for the government. That's why I keep telling y'all. And you keep worried about some black and white thing. Mormons know the law. The religious laws protect them. Y'all not listening. The religious laws protect you. You're not listening. Organization, when you be under organization, but you must be under that auspice. Do you think Mormons participate in anything got to do with the government? No. And that's their religion. And I'll show you the Mormon history. The Book of the Mormon is all about you. The European that wrote that book, he got all that from the view of the Hebrews. I demonstrated this on college campuses. Everything comes from you. Everything comes from you. So this is what I'll be telling Moors. I'm like, hey, I'm not here to debate no one. This is scholarship. This is a free gift. So if we're going to continue to, how can I say it, play stupid and not move on, we have a problem. So when Moors talk about these treaties and break down a whole bunch of these treaties, I'm like, man, what you're going to do is go to jail. You must understand who you are. Treaties been broken. The treaty been broken. More the peace of friendship. And I'm like, okay, well, read it and understand it. What you mean? I said, read it and understand it. You don't understand it. You just reading it. And then you got Moors that when they talk about the Sundry Moore Act, you got these, and I ain't call them dirty Moors. I'm calling them Negroes with feathers on. Talk about they some grand sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of the world. And then I ask them, where the hell is the Moorish Science Temple of the world? It ain't one. And on these cards they print for our empresses, I hate a Negro that's scamming our empresses out of their money and knowing they single moms. And then these Negroes print cards talking about they some this is the Moorish science temple of the world, and I asked where it's at, and on your ID it got some free Sundry More Act, and I say okay, so I hope Moors know what the Sundry More Act is, because the Sundry More Act was for citizens of Morocco. Read that. Citizens of Morocco, they didn't want to be classified as the Negro, blacks, and color here in the States as slaves when they was traveling from abroad. That's why they had dual citizenship, or they was nationals. They had nationality. They were Moroccan citizens, but they was traveling to the Americas. And it's because their skin looked this color, like we ain't no Negro, blacks, and color like y'all. So when you got these scam artists that's making these fake IDs, selling to our empresses and to lack of information more, thinking that's going to make them free. And on that dumb card, he's talking about some free Sundry More Act. And I say, are you a citizen of Morocco? I'll wait. Because if you pull that out, that what you have doing, you committing fraud. And I asked him, I said, y'all got to read. Stop getting excited when somebody just say something. And I said, read the 1790 Sundry More Act. And those were Moroccan citizens that was coming to the States. They didn't want to be classified as Negro, blacks, and color, and slaves. It says specifically Moroccan citizens. So the next thing I ask these goofball Negroes, are you a Moroccan citizen? They be like, oh no, I'm a Moorish American with Moroccan descent. So why you got some damn Sundry More Act on your ID? You ain't no damn Moroccan citizen. You a Moorish American with Moroccan descent or African descent. Why? Because Africa and Mexico is huge. So when we say Morocco, we connected to the Ottoman Empire, a specific area. Just like if I dropped you talk about, well, I'm African. Well, I drop your African bleepy bleep in the middle of Africa. What tribe you from? Hell, you got Zimbabwe, you got Tanzania, hell, you got Nubia, you got all these places. Where you from? You talk about you African. African what? What's your tribe? Your tribe make nations. The Europeans made us set trip like we some damn gang, like we Crips and Bloods. You got these religious Hebrew Israelites. You got these religious brothers, the 5%ers. And I'm like, but that ain't your nationality? I rock with the science. I rock with the science. They keeping us separate by what? Man-made religion and Negro-centric garbage. I'm done. Any questions? I'm done. Any questions? Moors, we must wake up out of this shallow grave. We must wake up. We got to show this world what we can do under the laws. Be like, we under the right auspices. We helping this more build. Everybody get a tax exempt receipt at the end of the year. All your books and stuff you come from me, you're not buying. It's a pledge. Tax exempt receipt at the end of the year. All the fizzes, all the hats, all the medallions, everything. Tax exempt receipt at the end of the year because it's part of our organization. Just like the churches. We don't have to talk about what these goofball churches doing. We don't have to talk about no preacher because the laws protect them. And they ain't crazy. If the people believe in that, they supporting it. What about us? What about us? What do we believe in? What are we supporting? I get tired of Negroes talking about somebody else's money. Like I be hearing all these YouTubers and these Moors count other people's pockets, talk about what Jay-Z should be doing for the black community, what Rick Ross should be doing for the black community, what Meek Mill, they should be doing a damn thing. They doing exactly what they want to do with their money. What you doing with your money? Buying cologne, eating fast food, burgers, wasting it. But you ain't covering it with nobody. And we talk about what somebody else should be doing with their money. We need to be showing the world what we doing with our money and say, hey, if y'all gonna be part of this is what it costs. But we ain't finna be begging, asking somebody what they should be doing with their money, because our prophet told us a beggar nation cannot save itself. All of us today, we put our pennies together and we make dollars. Islam.